What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we've got the first episode of the Alonso F1 Career Mode Challenge series. Now, you may be wondering, first of all, why I'm starting a new series just after putting out a new one only days ago. And that is quite simple because, first of all, I felt I didn't have the difficulty right, and second of all, I felt that it needed a twist, something to make it better and different from other YouTubers' series. So obviously, otherwise, if I just played through the career, I'm doing the exact same thing as everyone else. So I've put my own twist on this series, and it's quite a simple one. It is the Fernando Alonso Challenge, and how that works is quite simple. We've got 4 challenges that we've got to complete over the 10 seasons if we need it in this Formula 1 career mode. We're going to be starting off at Alonso's title-winning club, Renault, and our first aim at the club, or at the team I should say now, not the club, is to beat Alonso himself in a rivalry. That is objective number 1. Objective number 2 of the series will be to win the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship with Renault in one season, just as Alonso did himself in 2005 and 2006. Then objective number 3 will be to beat Sebastian Vettel, Alonso's arguably his greatest rival in his time in the sport, in a rivalry just as we beat Fernando Alonso. And then finally, take Vettel's spot at Ferrari and win the Drivers' Championship. The one thing Alonso never managed, win the Drivers' Championship with Ferrari, and then that will be the conclusion of the series. So, for today, with the first episode of the series, we'll be racing at Australia. This is pre-recorded with commentary over the top, so I hope you guys prefer it this way to live. I felt it wasn't as good. I didn't speak as much to the camera because I was focusing. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and let's do it. Okay, so one more quick thing to mention before we do get into the race. I'm going to be just showing you in this series the race, not the qualifying or the practice. I'll show you in a second on the graphic the grid as it stands, which will come up in just a second. There are no standings to look at, of course, at this stage, but just a heads up, if you want me to start showing qualifying and practice in these videos, comment down below and I will do that. But let's take a look at the grid, which should be coming up right now.
3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend, of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo and Bottas, Alonso, Magnussen, the rookie and Roman Grosjean, Hulkenberg, Van Dorn, Pierre Gasly and Hartley, Leclerc, Ocon, Marcus Ericsson and Sergio Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, and the lights are out for the start of our first F1 2018 career mode race. We got to a very strong start, pulling up alongside 8th place Magnussen in the Haas, which goes side by side into turn 1 and turn 2. We seem to have the inside line as we come onto the second straight, although Magnussen taking another peek as it is his inside line now as the corner switches, but it's going to switch again if we can hold it in the side by side, and we do. We are going to be ahead into P8, up a spot into the 4th turn, and Alonso is holding up Bottas as we take a look round the outside of him. Bottas really needs to be gaining. And Magnussen is taking a look round the outside of us. There's no luck, but slowed us down a bit. Bottas really in trouble though. We've got off to a pretty strong start, but Bottas will want to be up in that top 6 with the other drivers, especially his teammate in the Mercedes of Hamilton. But Alonso at the moment doing a great job to block him off in the McLaren. And Bottas takes a look around the outside. Is he going to get any luck? No, he cannot get through. Bottas still trying desperately to get into the main pack for his part of the set. Really the rest of us competing for 7th place, best of the rest in his first season. It is good to see Alonso performing well, but also we are not his rival yet, as we are not able to sign and choose a rival that in the future we want to be tough against him. Okay, as we come into the end of the first lap, it is still all square, although Magnussen is holding up everyone below us, which is really good for us actually. Just us and Alonso in that best of the rest set, along with the top drivers. This is going to give us a huge lead if Magnussen can block them off, and it's exactly what we need. We need to gain that time away on the super softs while we have them, and that is exactly what we are doing right now. We're not sure what Magnussen is doing, but it appears to be his Haas at the front of this pack. Hulkenberg actually, a driver being held up in that set as we speak. We're coming into the next couple of turns. Bottas and Alonso still ahead. Bottas still not able to get it through, although we've closed up to the back of the group of Ricciardo and Raikkonen. We seem to be battling it out for 4th place at the moment. Wait, yes, it is Ricciardo. I thought it was Verstappen for a minute. But not a lot happening. We're closing really tight though to the back of Verstappen, seeing if we can take a look round that outside though. We're not seeing a spot, and Bottas for the exact same spot tries again, no luck. We are right up his bumper, and here's right up Alonso's. Once DRS kicks in, this could really get started. I've no idea how this is going to go. We're pitting obviously on lap 4 pretty early into the race. Okay, and DRS is enabled. That is going to help hot up this race. Bottas tries again on Alonso. We take a look, swerving out the way, but it may pay us for us. Bottas pushes us wide though through the corner, and Hulkenberg, our teammate, has got past the blockade of Magnussen. Hopefully he can gain a bit of ground, join us in this main pack. We do want Renault, our teammate, to do well, even though he is our first rival, of course. We are still on the back of Bottas, and soon we're going to have our first DRS zone. See if that can make an impact, shake up the lineup. 3 drivers really getting away with it. I think that's Hamilton, Vettel and Verstappen having a very strong start to this race. But I'm very happy with the position that we are currently in. Bottas looks like he's looking again, but Alonso is just blocking off so well at this stage. Only one more lap though until we actually pit in. And if you look at the minimap, Hulkenberg really getting away. Bottas tries again. Is he going to get it? Oh, he's really pushing for it this time. Alonso pushed him out of the way yet again. This is an insane drive from Fernando, and we have DRS. Bottas is going to have it as well, so we're really not going to gain that much time through this corner, but it's going to help. We need to stick with this pack. We don't want to get strayed, stuck in the middle. It will help that lower pack gain on us. Hulkenberg flying away, which proves how slow Magnussen and the Hasses at the front of that set are going. And it means that we are just both drivers in Renault into the point at this stage as we come onto the 4th lap. Hulkenberg really closing in on the back of us. Ricciardo gaining away a little bit from this pack, but we are going to be entering the pit on this lap, so gain as much time as we can now and enter the pit in hopefully a very strong spot. Okay, we approach the final few corners before we go into the pits, and Raikkonen really seems to be holding up a lot of drivers here. I remember considering taking and going for an overtake on Bottas, but I hold off. And now I think about it, probably been a good move as Bottas joins us as we head into the pit lane. We're about to find out where we are going to come out, as we are seemingly one of only a couple of one stop. As you can see, Bottas' Mercedes going in there. We have got, I think, a Haas behind us. Must be either Magnussen or Grosjean. I think it's Magnussen, judging from the position. And I think, if I remember, yeah, we are screwed over slightly as as Bottas comes out of the pit, leaves us and loses us a bit of time there, although we do lose time for Magnussen as well as we block him off in turn. We're sitting in 19th spot as we come out the pits. Obviously though, we're on much fresher tyres and we'll gain quite a distance over the coming laps. Okay, and you join us back on lap 10. Not a lot has happened in the past couple of laps. Really just been gaining time on the back of the pack in this set, and we are back onto the back of Alonso, saying back way so much in this commentary right now, but Alonso has also joined me and Magnussen and Bottas on a 2-stop strategy. Everyone else going for a 1-stop. As you can see in front, Kimi, one of the early ones of the 1-stoppers to pit in, come out just ahead of me and Alonso. Bottas somewhere up ahead on the track, trying to overtake. I think it's the Saubers up ahead of Charles Leclerc and Marcus Ericsson, but we're on the back of this train along with Alonso and Raikkonen. So I know where this would take us out on the track once you factor in pit stops. We're doing reasonably strong times, though we are all getting held up by the Williams of Lance Stroll at this stage in the race, which is really creating an irritation as none of us were able to get past each other because of DRS. At the same time, Raikkonen just can't seem to get past this Williams for some reason, which is really going to slow us down. And you can see behind, you obviously won't have seen this, but Magnussen, Raikkonen actually, as I say that, Raikkonen tries round the outside, knocks Stroll a little bit actually, going for that overtake. But Magnussen has really closed the gap. About 2 or 3 laps ago when he came out the pits, he was 10 seconds down. He is now only 5 seconds down, so I bumped into the back of Alonso a little bit there. Bit of dirty driving from me there. Poor attempt at an overtake. Okay, we're a lap later and Alonso is finally making his move on Stroll. Looks like he has managed to get around the outside, but he knocks Stroll actually almost into our path, taking us possibly out of the road. But Alonso, surely that is a penalty for that move. Stroll really just knocked out of the way. Not going to knock him out of the race, but slow his time down massively. And I've just realised I've completely forgotten to mention that Ocon has been out of the race for about 5 laps. And I just haven't said a word about it. But Ocon is out of the race. And that is why there are only 19 drivers at this stage. We now have clean air a bit. Well, not really actually, as we pull onto the back of Sergei Sirotkin. Thought we got rid of the Williams. There's still one more of them to overtake. Hopefully we don't get held up in quite the same way we did as Stroll, and hopefully not losing as much time as we did on the previous occasion. Okay, we've had a real spanner thrown in the works for us. A virtual safety car has come out. This is really going to mess with us, as it is the exact time that a lot of drivers are in the pit and we're down to 18 races. Who is it that is out at this stage? I do not know. Those debris on the track. There's Sebastian Vettel on the side. I don't know whether it's him that's gone out or not. Anyway, that has really messed with a lot of drivers, I think. Hulkenberg is literally, yes, there you go, Hulkenberg. Heads into this. Brendan Hartley, they must have had a collision. Vettel must have just pit or something, and he's just gone and hit Hartley or had a collision with Hartley. Hartley's out the race. Vettel, actually, I remember looking back, gets a penalty for this. So, Vettel really out the race. Hartley literally out the race, and the timing could not have been worse, as we have to go slowly, and a lot of pit stoppers can go get their stops in now whilst we're all going slowly, and the time that we'd hoped to gain has been lost, A, because of Sirotkin and the other freaking Williams that Alonso makes a move. There is, I think that was our teammate, yes, Hulkenberg, wait, no, it's not, that was Van Dorn in the other McLaren. Alonso has got past Sirotkin. It is now our job to do likewise, and we have got a real chase on. That safety car could not have come at a worse time for us. So many drivers have to gain 5 or 6 seconds from us having to go slower, whilst they are in the pits doing their only stop of the race. So we are now actually a bit behind from the Williams and from that safety car. So not a great position, I suppose. Vettel being out, and Hartley being out, Ocon being out. But Vettel not actually, but Ocon and Hartley being out the race gains a couple of places if we would have been behind them. Probably not Hartley, but possibly Ocon. But we need to dispatch, obviously, Sirotkin, but we can't get past him. We're in rich mode and high in the ERS, but we're still not through. Hopefully we can get him on this next DRS zone. Otherwise we're going to be in a real trouble. And we tried. Interesting look there. We had a peak, but didn't go for the move in eventually. Here we go, DRS. This should be where we take him. We're closing in on the back. Williams have a faster engine than us, actually, which is creating an issue. We actually knocked into the back of Sirotkin. A foul move there and a warning for us, but at least the move is finally made. We can try and get in onto the back of that train of cars that is so far ahead of us now. We've really been screwed over. Someone's heading into the pits. I think that is, I'm not sure, I think that's a Sauber and a Toro Rosso headed into the pits. Yet Leclerc and Gasly, two decent drivers. Don't know where they'll come out. Gasly actually just behind us. But the real aim now as we come into 10th spot is to gain up the order a little bit and gain time so we don't lose too much in terms of our pit stops. Okay, so lap 16 and we're heading into the pits a lap earlier than we originally intended. We have lost one position to Van Dorn, but we're heading in now. The tyres were starting to lose grip. I decided at the time it was best to go in then. As you can see on the left hand side, Bottas on the mini-map goes past us into P10. We're in P11 now. Hopefully we don't drop too far down. We need a quick pit stop. There we go. Very quickly out there. And we unfortunately come out just behind. You can see coming on the screen now a number of drivers that are going to hold us up later in this race. And great. real irritations. You can see Magnussen actually, who we were ahead of a couple of laps ago, has actually gone and got past us with the undercut of his second stop, which means we sit in P15. Thank God we are ahead of Sirotkin on this occasion. He created some serious issues on the first half of this race, but we're in P15 coming into our final set of tyres. We've got Magnussen to catch and 2 Saubers up ahead of us to try and gain positions on. We've got 5 places to gain if we want to get into the points for this race. And we are comfortably through in the end of the straight into 14th place. The Renault engine not the fastest, but with DRS flowing didn't really stand much of a chance. If you look up ahead on the screen at the pink and orange dots, that is Alonso and Perez, the 2 drivers that Perez currently where the points are in this race. If you look up ahead, 13th is obviously Leclerc, 12th Magnussen, 11th Alonso and 10th place Perez. My bets at this stage would have been on Alonso bagging the points, so he was the man we really need to gain ground on, as us, Alonso and Magnussen were all on a lot stronger tyres than the other 2. So we're gaining onto the back of Leclerc as we go into this. We really need to get this position done quickly. Leclerc, a good driver in a weak car at this stage, so he'll be wanting to prove a point in one of his first races. I'm not sure if this actually in real life is his first season in Formula 1, but he'll be wanting to get off to a decent start. We are putting up behind, we have DRS. Don't think we're going to be able to do it on this straight, but hopefully when we get onto the main straight we should be able to take the positions. We think about a look up the inside there, we don't go for it again, and here we go, we pull out for the position. Can we get a wheel bumping? But Leclerc, oh, big bash from him. We go wide a little bit actually, although we look like we have got the inside line now. Yeah, I think we've got the position. DRS has gone in our favour. We just ended up in the hot spot behind him, which has really done us a favour. And as we come into turn 1, the move is complete. We are up into 13th place. We've got rid of the 2 Saubers, who are really our big issue now. We just have to push on. Hope that Perez can hold up Magnussen and Alonso for long enough for us to catch up and gain the overtakes. Only 3 more spots and 8 more laps to go in this race. It is going to be tight to see whether or not we can get points. Meanwhile though, I know that I looked at the mini-map in this race, and I know for a fact Hulkenberg is currently in 3rd place on the track, having an absolutely insane race, on for a podium, putting us to shame at the moment as we come through the chicane. Okay, now I do not know what has happened, but I've just had a quick update. Nico Hulkenberg, our teammate, is out of the race. That is the last thing we want. As much as we want to be beating him in the battle, we want to do well in the constructors, and him going out in such a strong position is a real damage for us. Although it is going to move us up a spot into 12th place, meaning we only have to overtake 2 of Alonso and Perez and Magnussen to get into the points at this stage. 9th place is now on the cards. We head into the beginning of lap 23. 17 drivers remain. There we go, we are up ahead of Hulkenberg. Magnussen just ahead. There you can see him actually on the side of the track. Not where we want to see our fellow Renault driver, but I suppose it is what it is, and we now have the opportunity to bag at least a couple of points for our team in this race. Okay, and Daniel Ricciardo has won the race, setting the fastest lap on that final lap, giving him a victory at his home Grand Prix. We have not been able to catch up with the other drivers. Perez has dropped out the points, unlucky for him. Did well in qualifying, a penalty has cost him, and he's been unable to drag it quite back in the race though. A solid performance from the Mexican. We will be coming across the line in 12th place in a second. Magnussen getting 10th, Alonso getting 9th. I'm not sure how the rest of the standings are sitting. We'll go take a look as we come across the finish line to finish 12th in our first ever Grand Prix. A decent result, not quite in the points, but I feel there's plenty of room to improve into the coming season.
Bring her in. We'll go over what happened in the debrief.
Drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible amount for Formula 1. And that's another winner's trophy heading back to Milton Keynes.
Okay, that is where we're going to finish off the video for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Before we do that, let's take a quick look at the final race results for today and the current standings. Daniel Ricciardo puts in a great performance to win his home Grand Prix in the first race of the season, followed up by Lewis Hamilton, only 6 seconds down. Next up, it's the two Finns of Kimi Räikkönen and Valtteri Bottas, followed in 5th place by a solid performance from Van Dorn, outscoring his teammate Fernando Alonso on this occasion. Verstappen comes in at 6th, with Pierre Gasly getting 6 points in 7th place. 8th is Fernando Alonso, followed by the two Haas cars, Magnussen and Gross in 9th and 10th respectively. This means that Ricciardo currently sits top of the Drivers' Championship, although I doubt that will be for long. And similarly, if we take a look at the Constructors, Red Bull currently sit on top, although I don't think that will be for long. Mercedes only 3 points down at this stage. Ferrari lacking a little bit, although that is partially because Vettel did not finish the race in the end. McLaren, 14 points from the race is a strong performance from them. We currently sit with 0 points from that first race, along with along with Force India, Williams and Sauber. Hopefully next episode at Bahrain, we're going to have a slightly better performance, but until then, I'll see you guys next time, and peace!